Now we begin with the part 1, the MCQ or the electronic part for the term 3 exam. This is for grade 9 advance. The first question is about statements, conditionals and biconditional. Here, before we begin, let's look into the truth table, that is logic truth values. The values are given like this. These are the formulas. What exactly are they? What are these, conjunction, disjunction? You might have come across and or gate in electronics, but even if you have not come across, no problem. This P and Q are two statements. Imagine the statement P is true and Q is also true. Then the conjunction means and. Both must be true in order for this to become true. If even single thing is false, it will negate it. So it's basically like a password. Each character, each number must be true, only then it will give you out that, it'll open up. But even a single thing is false if, there are separate words and characters, numbers. If something is wrong, it will just negate everything. It'll be false, false, false. So this is conjunction and gate. Okay, it's like inverted V, you can see over here. Whereas disjunction is another way around. If both are false, only it will be false. Otherwise, even if one thing is true, it's true. You can get through, It's kind of like that. And that is given as V, like this symbol over here. It's not exactly V, but similar to V. And that's called OR. Now, negation basically is opposite. So now if you have true, negation of true is false. You just change the sign. And what is negation of false? It will be true. So you can see negation of Q. This was true, it's false. False is true is false, and false is true. So if you know this table, now you can easily solve these up. Now let's read the statements. First statement, P is -3 minus 2 is equal to -5. Now you need to analyze whether it's true or false. Yes, absolutely, this is true, right? So I'll just write T. Vertical angles are congruent. Are they congruent? Are these two angles congruent? Yes, they are equal to each other. So again, this is true. And 2 plus 8 is 10. Is 10 greater than 10? See, if it was greater than or equal to, yes, that would be true. But here it is just greater than. No, it is false, right? Why? Because they're equal, not greater than. This is also this is false. Other two are true. Now we have P and is given as a inverted V Q. So what is this? Let's see. P is true and Q is also true. If both are true in both the statements or and, it is true. So answer is true basically. So this is how we do it. See, the statement 1 is true, that is P is true, and Q is also true. You can write it like this. No writing, it's just choosing the correct answer. But you need to understand which are the two statements given and which are correct. So since P is true and Q is true, both the and statement or this symbol is true. Now here in the question it's given as and. Sometimes you can see, look over here, it's given as the symbol. But still this is true itself. Now I'll just change over here. What is R statement now? P and R is false. So this is R, it is false. If one is false at AND statement, it becomes false no matter what, if even a single one. If P or R is false, it's false. So here the final answer will be false. You can see the first statement is true and the second statement over here is false. So therefore, P and R is false. Now over here, this one over here is OR statement. So, and they have told negation. Let's just quickly do it. We know Q is true. Okay. Or what about negation of R? This was false, right? Initially, this is true, true. This is false. So opposite of false is true. So this will be true itself. Because any one is true over here, this would have been true. But over here, both are true, so it is true. So you can see that's the answer. And similarly, you can try the others. Now we are R or V. See, R or Q, sorry. I don't know how it will be. This is the symbol OR, okay? Now this is true and this is right side is true, left side is false. But fine, even if one is true, it is true. So that is from the table which we saw at the beginning. So please remember the table, and then these problems are very, very easy. Here also you can see what is negation of P. This is inverted V, that is AND statement. See over here it will be written, see AND. Inverted is and negation of Q. So that means both are false and false. If both are false, it will be false. You can see over here. So just look into this statement. Over here, negation of R means it's true or false, because negation of P is false. Now this is true again. So that is how easily we can solve the first one. Please remember the table, memorize the table. There is no shortcut or calculator method for this. You should know the table, then easily see the options and choose the correct answer. The second question is about proving angle relationships. Now, before we continue, I just want to quickly remind you to watch the part 2 videos first, because in the writing part, we have done similar problems and in-depth explanation is given over there. Now here, let's directly do this in calculator, but you need to analyze what is given first. See, the measure of ABC is unknown. The total measure is unknown. But you know that ABD, this much, is 70 degrees. And DBC, the measure of angle 2, is 43 degrees. So how would you find the total measure? Let's take our calculators. All you do is add them up. 70 is so much, right? And the remaining is 43. Add it up, 70 plus 43. You get the total. It's 103, the final answer. That's it. Similarly, we can do the next one. Over here now they have told EBC. This entire thing is given as 50. EBD is given as 20. How to find the measure of second? See, let me point it out over here. The total angle EBC, sorry, EBC is given. This much is 55 degrees. And then they have also given us EBD, that is this much, as 20 degrees. So what is the remaining D? In the calculator, you have to just do 50 minus 20. That will be the answer. The answer is 35. That's it. What about this one? The same figure again. Please try to figure out them by yourselves. You can pause the video, solve all of them by yourself, and then check the answers. ABC, again, the total is given to be 110 degrees. Second measure is given as 36 degrees. What do we have to find? ABD. So the total minus this 36 will be ABD. So just, that's it. So it will be 74 degrees. That's the answer over here. 110 minus 36. Here, again, we have some interesting problem. The Alabama state flag is white and has two diagonal red strips. If the measure of angle 1 is 112, what is this angle? Now looking at this, they are supplementary or a linear pair, you can say, because when you add them up, they must be 180 degrees. So you know measure of angle 1 is 112. So how much is this? Total is 180. When you add the other two over here, 112 plus x, it will be 180. So you can just put this entirely in the calculator, or take 112 to the other side. It will be 180 minus 112 is equal to this. I'll do both the ways. So first way is just typing this equation. 112 plus x. It must be equal to 180 because they are linear pair. So it's 180. You can't press equal to here. You'll get an error. You need to press shift and solve. And no, this is not the answer. Press equal to 68. You can see that's the answer. The next question is about construction. Aaron has installed a new window above the entrance of the office building. Measure of second one is 44 degrees. What is the first one? Let's use a calculator. Over here, the total is 90, but you know the measure of one is unknown. X plus second measure is given as 44 degrees. That must be equal to 90, so it will be 46, the remaining. Press shift and solve. This is not the answer. This one is the answer, 46. And over here we have writing two column proof. Now this is done in the writing part. It won't be asked for you for MCQ, but it might be just which statement is used or something like that. Let's look into the answers. Now over here it's right angles, right? 1 and 2 form right angle, 3 and 4 form right angle. It's given. So what happens is if they form 90-degree right angle, they are called complementary. If they form 180, it's called supplementary. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are complementaries. So now if that is the case, what is given over here? 2 and 4 is equal. So if 2 and 4 is equal, then the other two must be equal, because 90 minus 2 will be 1, or 90 minus 4 will be 1. It's the same angle, right? So let me just show you. Imagine this 2 is 40. That means this is also 40. They have mentioned it. What is the measure of angle 1? It will be 90 minus 40, that is 50 degrees. Now, what is the measure of angle 3? It's 90 minus 40, that must be 50. So, if both are complementary or both are supplementary also, and one angle is equal to other one, then the other must be equal to the other side. So, that is how we prove it. It's congruent complements theorem. Now, here again, this is, they have told they are congruent. 1 and 3 are congruent. That means they're corresponding. If these two are congruent, then these are parallel lines. Then these are also corresponding to each other. Or you can say they are linear pair. Various ways to prove it. You can also consider, because they are corresponding angles, this will also be equal. Or since they are supplementary, that's the easier way. These both are supplementary or linear pairs. If one is equal to other one, see, if this is say 120, this is also 120, then 180 minus 120 will be 60. They both are equal. So here, because of supplement theorem, congruent supplements theorem. And now, what about this one? 5 and 7 are equal. Same thing again now, but this time it's a vertical angle. 5 and 7 are equal. These both are vertical angles. So if this is same, say this is 40, this is also 40, then obviously this will be 40 and this will also be 40. They are all congruent to each other. Okay, but they have asked you 5 and 8, not 5 and 6 or 6 and 8. Now, we know if they are vertical opposite, that is the vertical angles, they are all equal to each other. And if this is equal, then these both are equal. So literally all the angles are equal. So we can tell even 5 and 8 are equal. So that's the thing, transitive property. If this is equal to this, then this is equal to this. So 5 and 8 must be equal to each other. And similarly over here we have one more problem. ABC, given is the measure of ABC, that is ABC and DEF, they are equal. So now you can see this and this is equal. What about ABC? ABC and DEF are supplementary angles. When you add them up, when you add these both up, it will be 180 degrees. Now ABC and DEF, we need to prove they are right angles. Look over here. Imagine I'll take this as x and this as x. So if I add them both, because they both are equal, they must be same. What is the answer? It's 180 degrees, right? So just put this in the calculator, you'll get the value of x. Or if you solve it, it will be 2x is equal to 180 degrees or x is equal to 90 degrees. If it's 90 degrees, they are right angles. So I'll show you how you can put this directly in calculator. All you need to do is press alpha and x plus again alpha x, that is equal to 180 degrees, because they are supplementary. Supplementary means 180. Now you need to first shift and solve and then equal to, it's 90 degrees. So that's why. And over here the proofs are given, because whatever is given you just write it out, and then ABC are right angle, because two angles are supplementary and they're equal to each other, then they must be right angles. And over here they have told M and P are perpendicular. This symbol is perpendicular. Let me just write few things over here. If they are supplementary, okay, supplementary, they are 180 degrees. If they are complementary, then they will be 90 degrees. Please don't forget this. How I remember is, complement is something told to you when you're right. Okay, so this is always the right angle. The right angle is 90 degree, right? So that is the thing. Supplement is something extra. You take supplements extra and everything. So more than 90, what is extra more than 90? It's 180. So that's how I remember. Please try to remember in some way, so you'll never forget it. Now in this question, they have told measure of 1 and 2 is equal and M is perpendicular to P. So perpendicularity means the line will always cut as 90 degrees. So you can see here 1 is over here, 3. They both are equal. They both are perpendicular. And now what happens is if they both are perpendicular, they're congruent. This is 90 and this is what a linear pair. 1, angle 1 and angle 2 are linear pair in the sense they're supplementary. It's 180 degrees. So obviously if one is 90, the other one will be 90. It will be 180 minus 90. So measure of angle 2 is 90 degrees. So if this is 90, this is also 90. They both are equal to each other. So that is how. No need to write everything in detail because it's not writing, it's MCQs. So just understand the concept, that's more than enough. Now see this third one, they both are right. This is perpendicular, so this is a 90-degree line. So we can just equate it out. And that's the end of this question 2. The first parts are very easy directly in the calculator. The second parts of the questions are technically writing questions which are there in the writing part. So be thorough with the writing part. Now we just understand the concepts and easily look into the options and you can solve them up. Question 3 is on reflections. Here we have been given a figure and we have to reflect it along whatever line they mention. Now the first one, y is equal to x. What does that mean? Y equals x means x is equal to y. It's both the way around. Now if you want to know which line is that, now what this means is if x is 1, y is 1, this is the point. If x is 2, y also must be 2. They must be equal. So this will be the line. It's a 45-degree line like this. Because they must be equal even over here. If x is minus 1, y will be minus 1 and so on. That will be the line. Now if I tell you, okay, from here to here, it might be confusing. Whenever you see this line, x is equal to y is equal to x or x is equal to y, it's very easy. Just find the coordinates of the points. What is this b coordinate? X is 0. What is y? 1. What is about a? 1, 2, 3, minus 3 and 2. And lastly over here 1, 2, minus 2, comma 1, 2, 3, 3. Yeah, minus 3. So these are the coordinates, right? A, B, C. So A prime, the reflected point, or A dash will be, swap them. 2, comma minus 3. That's it. For reflecting along xy, you just swap these up. 2, comma minus 3. And what is B prime? It will be 1, comma 0. And C prime will be minus 3, comma minus 2. Now, if you're going to plot them up, you get the answer. Now, A prime. What is A prime over here? Where is A prime? A prime is A is over here. A prime will be x is 2. 1, 2, minus 3. 1, 2, 3. This will be the point of A prime. And then B prime will be 1, 0. This is the point. And lastly, minus 3 will be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, somewhere over here. So that will be the reflected triangle. Okay, it's a bit, not so clear. But you'll see the answers now. Look over here. I mean, it's okay, not very accurate. You can see it's not accurate enough to the points. But look at the coordinates. B prime was 1, 0, yes. Minus 3, minus 2, and so on. So this is the conversion. I hope you remember so much. You don't need to write anything. Just figure out which is the one. So what I would suggest to you is in the exam, when you see the question, and you will have 4 graphs like this as the answers, right? Take one point, easy point. See this one. It is 0 and 1. Now check for all the graphs which is having 1 and 0 as your answer for B prime. So like that you can eliminate many graphs, and once eliminated, check for one more point and easily you can get the answer. Or you can do all the 3 points and check it out. Now what about this one here? This is a trapezoid and it is reflected along which line? X equals -1. Now here you need to be careful. What is -1 over here, right? So imagine this is the mirror line. Now over here, you need to mirror it out. In the sense, you're reflecting this entirely over here. You can do the coordinates, x and y, the coordinate changes. You need to involve this and then you can get the coordinates and graph, but that is very tricky and lengthier. Since it's MCQ part, I'll tell you a shortcut. Look at this line as the mirror. Now what is the point of E from here to here? 2, right? This will be reflected left side by 2. 1, 2, that is it. What about F? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the point. What about this? It's just 1. It will be over here. And lastly, G is From here it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 somewhere over here. That will be the answer. Look for the graphs having that as the answer. So this is it. Can you see the distance over here? Because it's x as -1, this is the line which you need to focus on. X equals -1, whatever they have given. And now see the distance over here and over here is same. To this point, it's same. Even the same thing with this, and lastly this and this. That's how we easily solve it up. Let's look into more problems. Now this is again x is equal to y is equal to x. Just convert the coordinates. This is simple. We have done it. See, r coordinate is -2, 3. R prime becomes 3, -2. You can draw a line and change it up. Look, if you draw a line of 45-degree over here, you can see this distance towards this line now. It's always towards this line, isn't it? What is the distance? See this, and this will be same. If you draw it a straight line, you will realize it. Now we will try y equals -2. Now what? Where is y -2? This is the line, isn't it? Now this is 2, so over here will be the answer. Now it's not proper to graph over here. Let's look into the answers. Directly look into the 4 options and you can find the correct answer. This is y equals -2, 2 units, 2 units. Over here it's 3, 3. From here to here, whatever is the units, the same units down, and over here same till this line only, it'll be the same units. That is how we reflect, the coordinate plane. Now here they have asked you coordinates. Determine the coordinate s is equal to -7, 1 after the reflection of line reflecting in the line y equals 3. So what I would suggest is just draw this point. S is -7 somewhere over here, 1. Okay, sorry, that is -7 only. X is -7, 1 is over here. So it's somewhere over here. This is the point. What is the line? Y is 3, right? Sorry, +3. It will be up over here. This is -3. This is +3. Count the distance from here to here. How much is the distance? X value does not change. As long as it's in y-axis, that means it's only going to go up. X value will remain same. No matter what, S prime, X value will be same, -7 itself. But what happens is it will jump where? To 5. Why? It's 2 units. 2 units towards the reflecting point, right? From 1 to 3, how much is it? 2 units. So you need to change again 2 units. It'll be 5. So it'll be -7 and 5. That will be the answer. Why? Just plot the given point. It's -7, 1. The reflection line is y is equal to 3. This is the horizontal line. See the distance to the reflection line. It's 2 units. So it'll go 2 units to the other side. That will be -7 and 5. Over here, the answer is there. And now similarly, they have given an x point. Same way, just try to graph a rough sketch. 6 is somewhere over here and -4 will be over here. 6, -4. Now what line do we reflect it along? +2. This is 6, very far away. This is 2, okay? Now what is the distance from, okay, the point is, it's not accurately to the scale, just for understanding now. What is the distance from 2 to 6? It is 4. Now it will only be along x-axis that will change because it's vertical line, right? -4 will remain the same. Now it is 4 units over here. So go 4 units to the other side. It will be at -2. So the point will be at -2, 4. How do we know that? -2, -4. Because here, this is the given point. It's vertical line. So you need to plot it. Only then you'll understand. From the reflection line, that is 2, right? To the point, it is 4 units along the x-axis. X-axis 4 units. So here, we need to go the other way around. Now this side, now opposite side. So what happens? Opposite is left side. So it's -4 here. From 2, sorry, not from here. From 2, it is -4. Why? Because the difference from 2 to 6 is 4. Now from 2 we have to go 4 units back side. It will be -2, -4. Now if I tell you in coordinates, it's going to be very, very complicated. So it's best in figures. I'll draw a proper scale figure now. Again, just to understand. This is x of 0, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is -1, -2, -3. and we have coordinates of -1, -2, -3, -4. Where is this point, given point? 6 and -4, it's somewhere over here. Now, where is the reflection line? It is at 2. What is the distance from the reflection line to the point? It is 4 units. So we have to go 4 units to the other side. That's it. Where is the point now located? It will be at -2, -4. That's the answer. That is how we get these points. You can see it's -4, -2. It's better to do the figure and understand. If I just write in words or tell you formulas, you will definitely tend to forget in the exam because it's very confusing. Even I do the figure and just analyze it, then it's easier. And that's the end of the question 3. I hope it is clear. If you just get coordinate points, better draw a rough sketch of the graph and then solve it. If they give you coordinate planes, it's much easier. Just look at what line you have to reflect and then check the correct answer. We are in question 4 to find the slope of equations of lines and tell whether they are parallel or perpendicular. What happened is I recorded the entire, all the questions, I saw each and every question, and then I realized the recording was not at all on. So whatever I told for like past 10 minutes, was never recorded. Not 10 minutes, it was shorter. But anyways, now we will solve them again. We will do it now one by one. Before I continue, I just want you to know about lines. So let me draw some random axis. This is y-axis, x-axis. What do you understand by perpendicular lines? Perpendicular is always something like this, 90 degrees. So if I have, say, a line like this, and I have one more line like this, the slope between them, this causes 90 degrees over here, then they are perpendicular. Now, how would you know they are perpendicular? Because we only will know slopes, right? So mathematicians have found out various lines and everything, and they came to know whenever there are two perpendicular lines, the slopes, imagine this is y is equal to 2x plus, say, 4. And over here we have y is equal to minus half plus 1. Okay. Whenever you have two lines, if you multiply their slopes, minus x, what is the slope? Whatever is the coefficient of x, right? Let's multiply the slope. Half, minus half, and multiply it by 2. It becomes minus 1. You get minus 1 as the answer, then they are perpendicular. This is the only way you can easily find out which are perpendicular lines. Now, most important thing is writing the equation in slope-intercept form. This is slope-intercept form. What is it? Slope-intercept. There must be two things, slope and intercept. Y is equal to mx plus b. M is the slope, b is the intercept. B denotes, this 4 denotes, it is touching the y-axis at 4. Positive 4 over here. Now what about this? This last one. 1 means it's touching at 1. And whatever is before x over here, those are the slopes. M is slope, right? 2 and negative half. This is about perpendicular lines. Parallel lines, right, are two lines which will never touch each other. They will be always equidistant towards each other and they'll never cross each other. They'll never come like this because the slopes are same. If you have slope of y is equal to, now here there is no slope, it's flat line. Let me draw a realistic line over here. I'll draw two lines like this, okay? Now y is equal to, say, x plus 4, y is equal to x minus 1. Slopes are same, nothing means it's 1 and 1. Y and y, it's in slope-intercept form, but the intercepts, y-intercepts are different. Then they are parallel lines, parallel. As long as the slopes are same, they will become parallel. So now over here, what you need to do is just write them in slope-intercept form. So it'll be y is equal to 2x plus 4. It's already in slope-intercept over here. Y is equal to 2x minus 10. Again, it's in slope-intercept. Look at the slopes. Parallel, directly, that's it. And you don't have to solve anything. You have to just look at the slopes, tell parallel. Now over here, y is equal to negative half x minus 12. That's the slope-intercept form. Over here now, this is not in slope-intercept. Y minus 3 equals 2 times x plus 2, right? Let's solve it up. Y minus 3 equals, multiply this, both the terms, it will be 2x plus 4 when you multiply 2 times 2. Now you take 2x plus 4 plus 3. Why? Because this to the other side becomes positive. So it's y is equal to 2x plus 7 now. Now here, let's write y is equal to 2x plus 7. The slopes are different. Obviously, they cannot be parallel. Only if they are same, they are parallel. Now what we will do is, we will just multiply the slope towards each other. Like minus half times positive 2. The slopes are minus 1. Now when we multiply, we got negative 1. That means they are perpendicular to each other. That's the answer. Now what about, say, parallel, perpendicular? Let's look into this is neither. Now let's do this one. I'll now directly multiply. You can do this by yourself later. And you do not need to worry much about the y-intercept. It's only the slope that really matters, this 3x. Then all the numbers, just put them together. It'll be plus 15, plus 4, it'll be plus 19. Now what about this? Y is equal to negative 1/3 x. And then we will have over here minus 1/3 and minus 3. It will be 3 by 3, 9, 10 by 3. I just did it a while ago, so I remember it as well. Now here, yeah, it's minus minus. Only look at the slope. We are not looking into the other number. You can solve it and calculate it, that's fine. But we are only focused on the slope. 3 times negative 1/3. 3, 3 cancels. Answer is minus 1. It's perpendicular to each other. The answer is perpendicular over here. You can see. Now what about this? Let us write y is equal to, it'll be 6x plus 12 plus 3 will be plus 15. Over here we will have y minus 1/3 x. And over here we will have negative 4, it'll be positive 4/3, and we will have to minus 3. You can do this, it's basically 1/3. We are not focused over here in the intercepts. We don't want that intercepts. We just want the slope, this term. As long as y, then we just look into the slopes. 6 multiplied by negative 1/3. What's the answer? It's 2, minus 2. Now here this is a problem. It's not minus 1, it's not equal, it's not parallel nor perpendicular, it's neither. So the answer is neither over here. So this is how we solve those problems. Now last type of problems over here, we have just x is equal to y is equal to 10. Like we have only x and y terms. We don't have an equation. So that means the lines will either be flat horizontal or vertical lines, right? This is the thing. So let us graph them up. X is minus 2. Where is minus 2? Over here, draw a straight line. Okay, that's not straight, but it should be fairly straight. What about y is equal to 10? It's somewhere over here. Let that be 10, and it's over here. This is perpendicular. Why? Because you have just x is minus 2 and y is 10. In this line, there is no slope, so slope is 0. Over here, there is no y-axis. The slope is 90 degrees basically. And what about these? Y is 5, that is over here, minus 3, let it be over here. Two flat lines. They'll never touch each other. They're always equidistant against each other. So this is parallel. Now, easy way to remember, you have x is equal to single number, y is equal to single number. They're always perpendicular to each other. You can take any values. So imagine it's 0, 0. It'll be perpendicular, 0, 0. Any line, it'll be a cross. It'll be 90 degrees. That means perpendicular. But if it is same axis, x, x, now if you have x of minus 2 and positive 2, they are parallel to each other. They will never cross each other, okay? So perpendicular here when there are two different terms, parallel when they are same. And that's the end of question 4. I hope it is clear. Simple topic. Just be careful with the slopes. Find the slopes, analyze them, and then easily find the answer. Question 5 is about angles of triangles. Here we need to find the measure of different angles. Let's look at what they have asked us to measure. It's B, C, and D. So this is C over at this point, B, C, D. That is given as 2x minus 2. But they have given all the other angles as well. You can see this is also mentioned. Now what is this? Now if this is 90, this is also 90 because they are linear pairs, and if 190 degrees is there, the supplementary to it or the next angle to it will be 90 degree as long as it's a straight line. And will we be able to solve for BCD this angle with this much information? Yes, because it's a triangle, right? When you add up all the angles, that is D plus B plus C, what happens? It's 180 degrees. So we know D is 90, B is x plus 8, and C is 2x minus 2. This will be 180. You can solve it by yourself, I mean taking to the other side, but what I'll do is I'll show you shortcut in calculators now. Just type it out in the calculator. 90 plus x is alpha x plus 8, then again add up 2x plus minus 2, and lastly equal to, that is alpha equal to 180. Now you cannot press equal to, it will be an error because you have an equal to sign, that's equation, so you need to press shift and solve, and now press equal to, that is the answer x. But that is not a final answer. We need to find BCD, not the x value. So now substitute x over here. So it'll be 2 times, answer is how much? 28 minus 2, that is the answer 54. You can see the answer will be, the x value is 28, the value of BCD, measure of BCD is 54. So that's the answer. Similarly, we can solve the others. Now over here, what happens? Always remember this exterior angle is there, right? This is equal to the sum of the interior angles, not this one, the other two. Why? Because, so imagine this is the thing, right? When you add them all up, it will be 180 degrees, isn't it? When you add, say, angle ABC, isn't it? ABC. Now, I'll consider this to be D, and this is C. So, here ABC will be equal to 180. And over here, CD, they are straight lines, supplementary. So, 180 is also equal to C and D. So, cancel them. What is it? AB must be equal to D. So these, when you add it up, it's not like it's plus, okay? So when you add it up, AB, that will be equal to D. Or else you can just remember it as a formula. So all you need to do is put it in the calculator. 145 will be equal to alpha equal to 95 plus 2x, and shift and solve equal to, you need to press. This is the correct answer. But now we do not want the x value. We need to find ABC, this angle. 2 times 25 is 50. So the answer will be 50. Multiply this by 2. And what next? You can find this the same way. You need to find the measure of f. So all you need to do is 58 equals x plus x is 2x. I'm going to write it directly. Or you can write over here x plus x. It's fine. You'll get the same answer. Shift and solve. This is the previous stored answer. When you press equal to, you'll get the new answer. That's 29 is the answer. We have a real world problem. It's about towers. A lookout tower sits on network of struts and posts. So struts is this, the support which is there, and post. Leslie measures 2 angles on the tower. Measure of angle 1 over here is 7x minus 7. And measure of angle 2 over here is given, 4x plus 2. And measure of angle 3 is also given. What is the measure of angle 1? So this angle is required to be found out. Now it's all given in terms of x. So all you need to do is know the formula. Measure of angle 1 will be equal to the measure of angle 2 plus measure of angle 3. Measure of angle 3. This is like this. So we will substitute it, 7x minus 7. That will be equal to 4x plus 2 plus 2x plus 6. You can use your calculators and directly solve it up. All you need to do is type it out. 7x, that is alpha x, minus 7 equals 4x plus 2 plus 2x plus 6. Shift and solve. The answer is 15. X value is 15. What is the measure of 1? So 7 times 15, or the answer you can type minus 7 is the answer. Okay, now the thing is, once you're in the equation mode, you need to press on. Now you're outside. So now you can write 7 times 15 minus 7 and you'll get the answer 98. That's how we solve this. Similarly, please do solve this one as well. I'll just tell you what is the formula. This 116 will be equal to sum of these two. And what is 1 and 2? It's given over here 8x and 7x. All you need to do is put in the calculator, solve it up. Here's the answer, 64 degrees. So that is how we solve this problem. Another easy problem. Just remember the exterior angle theorem. The sixth question is proving triangles congruent with ASA and AAS. That is angle side angle and angle angle side. We have done similar problems in the writing part as well. Now, since this is in MCQ part, I guess they'll just ask you which congruent theorem is used, because they can't ask you the details. Over here, the answer is, given statement and reason. But what they might ask you is which congruency is used. So let's look at this. Here they have given you AB is parallel to CD and CBD, that is CBD over here. This angle is congruent to ADB. Okay, so these both are equal. These two lines are parallel. Now, first thing I can see is this is a reflexive property. Why? Because this is the same line, isn't it? They are reflection to each other. Both the triangles use the same line, so they are equal. And what next? Since these are parallel, can I tell this is equal to this? Interior angles. So alternate, they are opposite sides, so they are alternate inside angles, interior angles. See, these are parallel lines, they're inner to them. So I got an angle, side, and an angle, so it is ASA postulate. You can see the final answer is by ASA postulate. Similarly, you can solve the others. Let's look into this one. What is given? S is given and it's congruent to V. Okay, those both are equal. T is the midpoint of SV. That means these both lines are congruent to each other because midpoint cuts into two equal parts. And now this angle T and T are vertical angles, so they are equal to each other, right? So again, ASA postulate is used. Now here it's just given in detail. I just told the same thing. And what about this one here? We have AD congruent to, oh sorry, we have to prove that they both are congruent. The given is up. AB is congruent to CB, okay. Angle A is congruent to C, and they have told DB bisects this particular angle ABC. So that means this angle is equal to this angle. Because of bisection, this is equal to this. They have told this is equal and the sides are equal. So we have ASA postulate. ASA. Now, what is the thing? They have asked us to prove that these two lines are equal, right? Now, because of ASA postulate, we have proved that this triangle is equal to this triangle. If there are two congruent triangles, equal means congruent, then all the parts and sides and angles are equal. So this side is equal to this is equal to this is equal to this. All the sides and angles are congruent. We call it congruent parts of congruent triangles. See this one, CPCT. What is it? Congruent parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So there are three times congruent. Congruent parts, all the parts of congruent triangles, these both are congruent means they're equal to each other. So just remember CPCTC. And the ASA postulate was used to prove them they both are congruent. Now what about this one? Here also CD. Now I exactly do not know how they'll ask this in MCQ, but anyways you will have four choices. It's easy to recognize them. It'll be CD over here bisects AE. So this is congruent to this line because AE is bisected by CD line. So AC and C are equal. And what next? AB is parallel to CD. Okay, that's fine. And what do we know? E is congruent to BCA. Now, since these both are parallel, A and C is corresponding angles, right? A and C is corresponding angles. So we have ASA again, and hence they are congruent to each other, these two triangles. So you can see it's ASA congruency postulate. Now, there are a few more problems, same concept. You can try them by yourselves now. See again, C is bisecting what? BED. So these both are equal to each other. This line, looking at it, I can say it's a reflexive. And if this is 90, this must be 90, right? So what happens? ASA postulate again. So you can see this is by ASA postulate. That is angle side angle congruency postulate. And the last problem over here, what do we have is W is congruent to Y. This line is congruent to this line, that is WZ and YZ. And XZ bisects WXY. So again, angle, side, angle. This bisect means these both are equal. So it is again ASA postulate. So that's how we can easily go through that problem. Just look into the congruency postulates, look at the given, and then you can easily prove what is required. The seventh topic is conjectures and counterexamples. This is about finding patterns. Now here we have a problem about writing a conjecture that describes the pattern in the sequence. Then use the conjecture to find the next one. So what is happening over here? That's what we need to find out. Appointment times: 8:30 a.m., 9:15 a.m., 10 a.m., 10:45. What do you find between them? Is there any common pattern? You can see 9:30 to 8:30 to 9:15. What's the time? It's after 45 minutes. So let's check whether this is the same throughout. Even over here it's 45 minutes. Even over here it's 45 minutes. Now what would be your educated guess for the next one? That would be, again, 45 minutes. It would be 11:30 a.m. So that would be the answer. So over here what you need to see is look for patterns. It's 45, 45, 45. It's added by 45 minutes. So the next one, the conjecture is each appointment is 45 minutes after the previous appointment time. The next appointment will be 45 minutes after 10:45 a.m. So it's 11:30 a.m. Now here we have numbers. We need to find a pattern. It's half, 1, 2, 4. From half to 1, what is the pattern? You're not adding 1, you're not adding half, because if you add half, then it's not being added by half. Here it's 1 again, then 2. You can see if you multiply half by 2, you get 1. Multiplied by 2, you get 2. Multiplied by 2, you get 4. So you're multiplying a number that is 2. Here it's multiplication 2, same thing over here. And then what do we have? Making a conjecture that is number is being multiplied by 2. So 4 times 2 will be 8. That's it. Now you guys find the patterns over here. You can just pause the video here, try finding it by yourself, and then we'll continue. I hope you tried. Over here you can see it's 4, 8, 12. Everything is being added by 4, so it's 24. Now over here you're just adding the digits 2. 4, 4, 4, 5. 5 twos. Sorry, it's not 4, it's 2. 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. Over here it's 1 half, 1 fourth, 1 eighth. You're dividing by 2. Again, divide by 2. Divide 2 means you multiply it in the denominator. 2, 4, 8. Again, 2, it will be 16. Now, what about this? Okay, it's 11 by 2. Okay, 11 by 2 is how much? 5.5, right? So you can just put in the calculator and check. 6, it'll be 5.5. Next is 5. This is 4.5, 4. Next one will be 3.5. Or you can write it as 7 by 2. 7 by 2 is 3.5. So it might be 3.5 or anything. So 24, 2, 2, 2, 5 times. 1 by 16, and over here it's 7 by 2. You should also understand the conjecture. What is exactly happening? Over here, each term in the pattern is 4 more than the previous term, because this might be your option as well. Each term is 1 half the previous term. Each term is 1 half less than the previous term. Subtraction. Each term is added by a digit 2 as a part of the number. You're just adding 2 digits. Now what about these over here? Arrival times 3 p.m. Next is 12:30 p.m. 10 a.m. So you can see they are reduction over here by 1.5 hour, 1.5 hour. Next one will be 8:30 a.m. So sorry, it's 7:30 a.m. Why? Because it's 2.5 hour, not 1.5 hour. My bad. It's 2.5 hour, 2.5 hour, 2.5 hour. I just realized it. What about this percentage humidity? 100, 93, 86. It's 7 over here. So next one will be 79. So it's being deducted by 7%. And what about these patterns? Over here, it's gone over here. It's shifting backwards. So next one will be over here, top right. You can see this is the answer. And this has been reduced by 1 block. The last 2 blocks are omitted over here also. Next one will be just 2 blocks. That's it. And that's another easy one, just finding the patterns. Look at the question properly and then comparing the 4 answers, you can easily find the correct answer. Question 8 is about parallel lines and transversals. Here we have to find which is the transversal and what properties do the angle relate to each other by. Now let's look at C, D, and A line. Okay, these are just 2 lines, CD, and you can see that line A is cutting both of them, isn't it? That line which cuts both the line C and D is called a transversal. Now there is special properties formed between these pair of angles and these angles. Now what are the angles? Look, they are pretty simple. You should just know few things. What is alternate? Alternate. What exactly does it mean? It means like changing or something like that, right? Like if it's one is over here, one more is over here, one over here, one over here, not on the same line. If it's same, it will be corresponding. So alternate is this 4 is alternating with 6, you can say, because you need to cross it out. This 3 over here is alternating with 5. Now you can see this line C and D, they both are inside 4, 3, 5, 6. So these are called interior. Interior is inside. Whereas exterior, external. Exterior is what? Outside. This is also exterior. So 1, 2, 8 and 7 are exterior, and 1 and 7 over here are exterior exterior alternating angles, you can say, because they are also alternating, right? 2 and 8 again alternating, but exterior alternating angles. If there is something inside, interior, outside over here, exterior. That's the concept. What about corresponding? See, this 1 is top left, even 5 is top left, they're corresponding towards each other. 4 is down left, even 8 is down left in this page. So these both are corresponding. 4 and 8, 7 will be corresponding with 3, and lastly 2 with 6 over here. So they are corresponding to each other, and the transversal is A. So now let us look into the question 4 and 5. Where is 4 over here and 5? Which is the transversal? Transversal is the cutting line is A. And what sort of a relation they have? Okay, now this is again, I didn't tell this. Inside, they're interior, something to do with interior. Now, are they alternating? No. They're corresponding. Can you see? Sorry, consecutive. Corresponding is 4 and 8. They're continuous, so they're consecutive. Consecutive means continuous. So now this will be consecutive after 1, 2, 3, consecutive numbers or consecutive integers after 1. So after 4 is 5, right? So that will be, the answer is, so first transversal is line A, and they are consecutive interior angles. That's it. Now 1 and 8 would be consecutive exterior angles. What about 5 and 15? 5 is over here, 15 is over here. They are exterior angles. Now, which are the two lines to consider? A and B. So from here, 5 and 15. The transversal is line D. This is the transversal cutting them both. 5 and D are exterior alternating angles. See, line D is transversal, alternating exterior, or exterior alternating. What about 12 and 14? 12 is over here, 14 interior alternating angles, and the transversal is B. Simple. What about 7 and 15? Let's look at 7. 15 is over here, 7 is over here. They're corresponding, down right, down right. Transversal is D. D is the line cutting both A and B. So D and corresponding. And over here we have 2 and 12. 2 and 12 are alternate interior, and the transversal is C. So that's the answer. 3 and 6. 3 and 6 is interior consecutive because they're continuous. 3 and 6 are continuous. And which is the transversal? Line A is cutting them both. What about 1 and 9? 1 is over here, 9 is over here. They're corresponding, and the line which cuts is C. Corresponding, and transversal is C. That's the thing. And what about 3 and 9? 3 and 9 is alternate interior because they're inside A and B, right? The transversal is line C again. What about 10 and 16? 10 is over here. 10 and 16. They are outside, exterior. See, C and D lines, exterior angles. Transversal is line B, exterior alternating. And 5 and 13 is, where is 5? This is 5. 13 is over here. They're corresponding, and the transversal is line D, corresponding. And what type of angles are 3 and 10? It's a different figure, but the concept is same. 3 and 10. They are alternate over here and over here, right? Exterior and alternating, because the lines, these are exterior. So you can see it's alternating exterior. And what is the transversal over here? The line which cutting both, L. That's the answer. Alternate exterior, transversal is line L. 11 and 13, what about this one? 11 is over here, and 13 is over here. They're consecutive to each other, right? They're consecutive but interior because they're inside. The transversal is line P. Transversal is P, but these are consecutive interior. Interior angles lie on the same side. But they have not asked, what is the type of angle. They have just asked what's the transversal. Transversal is line P. The line which cuts both the lines where the angle touches. L and Q line is cut by line P. That's the end of this question. Another simple and easy one. Just remember the rules of all alternating interior, exterior, consecutive interior, exterior, and corresponding angles. And remember, transversal is the line which cuts the two lines. This is the transversal. So focus on the angles, see what type of relationship and what is the transversal. Question 9 is about slope and equations of lines. Here you have been given a point which passes through a line that is perpendicular, and the equation of a perpendicular line is given. But we need to find the equation for this line whose only points are given. How would we do it? So since they have told it's perpendicular, we can find something about the slope, isn't it? Then once we have slope and points done, we can find the equation. We have to write in slope intercept form. That is fine, we'll write it later on. But how would we get this? From here, just focus at the slope. If it's in slope intercept form, y is equal to mx plus b, as long as y is having a coefficient of 1, then whatever is the coefficient of x, that is the slope. Over here, there is no other x term, only one x term. So slope is half. But for perpendicular line, if you multiply the slope of other line, it must be minus 1. So here, if you take it to the other side, m is equal to minus 2. So the slope of this line must be negative 2. Another way to understand, the slope, this is reciprocal. What is the reciprocal of half? The reciprocal of half is 2. Reciprocal of 2 is half. Just whatever is down goes up, or whatever is up goes down. If it is 2 by, say, 3, then the reciprocal will be 3 by 2. This is the concept. But here, don't forget, you need to add negative sign. It's negative reciprocal. So these are all the slopes of these perpendicular. If these two are slopes, they are all perpendicular. So now we are looking at this, I can tell reciprocal is 2 and negative. So this is the slope of the equation. Now once I have the slope, I can use different type of formulas, but the easiest one would be y minus y1 is equal to m into x minus x1. This m and y and x will remain. Now what is y1 and x1? This is it, x1, y1. Now substitute. Here y minus of minus 4 is equal to m into x minus of minus 7. So it will be plus 7. Okay, I've written directly. Minus of minus 7 will be plus 7. Even over here it will be y plus 4 is equal to m. Now what is m? M is negative 2. So negative 2 over here is m. Multiply it, minus 2x minus 14. Take this 10 to the other side. It will be y is equal to negative 2x minus 18y. Because this goes to the other side, it becomes negative 4. And that's the equation of the line. So let's check the answer. It must be negative 2x minus 18, and that's the correct answer. Now I'll show you some shortcut methods as well. The reliability of the shortcut methods is high, but not always accurate, because there are some type of problems it may not be helpful. But for such problems, right, you'll have 4 equations as the answer, right? So what you do is, what is the x value? Minus 7. So here minus 2, you can type as x and calculate it, or instead of x, I'll directly type this x value. What is that? Minus 7 minus 18. Now press equal to. This must match the y value. Yes, this is correct. And also you need to check for the slope. If this is having half, it will be negative 2 slope. Yes, that's correct. So the first thing in the 4 options, what you do is check for the slope. Okay, if it's half, it will be minus 2, and you will eliminate at least 2 options like that. So only 2 answers will remain. Then substitute this x value, you must get this answer. That is correct. So this is how we can solve it up. Now here again similar. Now they have told the line is parallel to y is equal to 7. Okay, what is y is equal to 7 line? The line is over here like this at 7. It's a straight line. What is the slope here? This is the equation, right? Let's write it as in terms of y is equal to mx plus b. What do you get now? Do you get anything? No, x is 0, isn't it? So you just get y is equal to 7. This is 0x, so the slope is 0 here. So what if the slope is 0? Now let's try to write the equation y minus y1 is equal to m into x minus x1. This is basically the slope formula if you're wondering how I got that. M is equal to y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. It's just that this is written as y and x and taken to the other side, you get that answer. So this is the slope formula if you're thinking. Now here y as it is, y1 x1. I directly write plus 10, because it's MCQ, you don't need to write all the steps. Directly the answer is required. So here it will be plus 10 is equal to m is 0. So I don't even need to substitute. Even if I substitute, it won't make a difference. Here it is plus 1, but this is all 0. So y will be equal to what? Minus 10. This is the correct answer. So y is equal to minus 10 is the answer. You can see that's the equation. But can you do this in the calculator? The answer is yes, but it is a bit tricky. So that's why I wanted to show you the exact method as well. This is the correct answer, but what if you have some other equation having similar thing? It might be confusing. So there's one way to remember. Whenever you have lines parallel to y is equal to x like this, parallel like this, the slope is always 0, so you won't have x term. Then you can understand, doesn't matter this term, you have to just focus on the minus 10. Is it matching minus 10? Yes, that would be the answer. There is nothing you can do in calculator because you put minus 10. Is there any x term? Where is the x term? It's 0x plus of minus 10, 0x minus 10. Now calculate anything at minus 1 or 0 or anything, the answer will be the same thing, right? So the answer is same because it's just a straight line. Doesn't matter what x value, the value of y is always minus 10 itself. It's over here down. So such problems tend to be confusing in calculator, so it's better to do it by the formula itself. All the others are just the same. Now here it's a parallel line, so I'll solve it up. The slope is negative 2/3. Now let's solve it. Here y minus y1 equals m into x minus x1. So y minus 2 will be equal to same slope because it's parallel 2/3 of x minus 6. Now what you do is y minus 2 will be equal to negative 2/3 x plus 2/3, because minus minus is plus, times 6 over here. 1 time, 2 time, it will be 4, and negative 2/3 x, and this one y is equal to this 2 comes over here, it will be plus 2, this becomes 6. Okay, I've just written this is 6. So it's negative 2/3 plus 6 as the answer. Now let's do it in calculator as well. So I've typed this equation in the calculator. Negative 2/3 x. What is the x value given? 6 plus 6. The answer is 2. Yes, it matches. This will be a correct answer. So that is how we can check the equation. Because if any other equation is giving the same answer, that means that is also correct. It cannot be, only one separate answer will be there. So one unique equation will be giving this correct values. Similarly, you can solve these. I'll just write the slope here. It's minus 5. So what happens is reciprocal of 5 is this thing, 1 by 5, and minus becomes minus minus plus. So this is the slope. You can see 1/5 is the slope. You solve it up and you get the answer. Now here they have done a long method. Okay, they're using slope intercept form and then solving it back. What I just showed you, the method is much easier. So I'll just show you again. It is y minus y1 is equal to m into x minus x1. This is the formula. All you do is substitution since points are given. Consider them as x1, y1. So y minus 2 is equal to 1/5 of x minus of minus will be plus 2. Now you just solve it up. Y will be 1/5 x 2 by 5 plus 2 by 5, and this goes to the other side, will be plus 2. So the answer over here will be 2 will be in terms of 5, so multiply 5 and 5 will be 1/5 x plus 2/5 plus 10 by 5. You have to make the denominator same, so multiply up and down by 5, you'll get 10 by 5. So the answer over here is 12 by 5 plus 1/5 x equals y. Let's check. That's the correct answer. You don't need to do it in mind. You can just do it in calculator. You'll get this answer. So this is how we do it. And you might get this as 2.4. 2.4 is same as 12.5. So just be careful with that. If you get decimal, you can convert this fraction to decimal and check the answers. So this is how we can solve these problems. Okay, now here they have changed the value, changed the type of problem. A line containing 4 comma minus 2 and x comma minus 6 is perpendicular to the line containing this. Now, what do we do is, they have told these 2 points are perpendicular to these 2 points, right? So over here we have all the necessary values, x1, y1, x2, y2. We can easily find the slope from this formula, that is y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. This is the slope formula. Now let's substitute it over here. What is y2? It's negative 4. You can interchange this, it's fine, doesn't matter. Minus 4 minus of negative 9 divided by x2 is 3 minus of minus 2. Now here, you can just put in the calculator, you get the answer directly. Or let's just solve it up over here, plus 2. So it is 5 by 5. The answer is 1. So now reciprocal of 1 is what? 1 by 1 is 1 only. But remember, you have to add the minus sign. So the slope over here is negative 1. If you know the slope, we can find this x, right? See, now we know the slope. We just use the same formula. This unknown x value can be found out. Now here they have just asked you to find x or y. Okay, value of x or y. You don't need to find the equation. So what we will do is, m is equal to, again, the same formula. I'll not write the formula again and again. Just x1, y1, x2, y2. So it's minus 6 minus of minus 2 divided by x minus 4. But what is the slope here? This is minus 1. So let's take this entire thing to the other side. It will be minus 1 times x minus 4 is equal to, solve this up, minus and minus becomes plus 2, minus 6 plus 2 is minus 4. Now you can divide both the sides by minus 1 to remove the sign, or you can multiply the minus sign inside. It will be minus x plus 4 is equal to minus 4. Take this x to the other side and minus 4 to the other side, because we need x as positive. So it will become 4 plus 4 is equal to x, 8 is equal to x. If you're wondering how this happened, I'll show you directly in the calculator. Now this one over here is 4, okay, that's 4. Now you can use your calculators. We will just type this out entirely. Negative 1 equals alpha cal gives you equal. And over here we have negative 6 minus of minus 2 divided by unknown variable is x, that is alpha, and this symbol over here, minus 4, shift and solve. The answer is 8. X value is 8. You need to press shift, solve, and then equal to. Only then you get the answer. Now let's just check the answer. The x value must be 8, but they are asking for slope again. But remember here, guys, they have clearly mentioned find the value of x. In the exam, if they ask you to find the value of x, this is the answer, 8. But if you want to find the slope, it's very simple. We already found, the slope equation. We found the slope. Just use these 2 points and solve it up. I'll show you. Here, take any 2 points from this. X and y, this one, x1, y1. I can take this y because this is unknown. But we found this is 8. You can even take this, but it's better we'll take the known values itself. Y minus y2 equals m into x minus x2. Substitute the values. Here it will be minus of minus 2 equals, slope was negative 1, because over here the slope was 1, we found out. Reciprocal, negative reciprocal is negative 1. Only for 1 it will be 1 itself, but if it is say 2, the reciprocal will be 1 by 2 and negative would be minus half. But here, since it's going down, it will be 1 by 1, so it's same, just negative 1. x minus 4. Now simplify this. Y is equal to plus 2, that is equal to minus x plus 4. Y equals, take this 2 to the other side, it becomes minus x plus 4 minus 2. Y equals negative x plus 2. This is the answer. But remember, this is just to find the equation. We had to find x. They have clearly told find the value of x. So whatever I just did a while ago, the x value was 8. That is the actual method for solving this. So now they have just, okay, they have done the x value over here. But since they have directly asked you to, find the x value, you can directly find. But the equation is already done. We know how to do the equation. The same way you can do it. So this is how, see now there are various methods to do it. I directly found the x value. Over here the equation was found out and then they are solving x value by just substituting this minus 6 as y and then finding out the x. This is also possible, but it's a bit lengthier. That's the graph. Okay, graphing, you can easily find it in your calculators. Say you know the equation. So here the equation was given. So just type the value minus x plus 2. There is table method as well, but since your graphs will be given as option, this is a easier method. Let's assume x to be 0. So calculate at x is equal to 0 and press equal to. What is the value? Y must be 2. It matches. Now let's change the value. Let me take x as 4. Sorry, not that. It's minus x plus 2. Now calculate at x is equal to 4. The value must be minus 2 now. Yes, it is matching. Now what about minus 6? Let me calculate at negative 6. The answer is 8. And yes, so this is the correct graph. Only one graph will match all the points. All the others will give you wrong answers. It won't be the same. That's how we solve this. Now over here it's the same thing again, but it's just parallel. So what you need to do is, this line is points are given. We need to find the y value over here and the equation for this. First, solve for the slope. M is equal to x1, y1, x2, y2. I'll directly write it's y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus of minus y1 will become plus 4. Now here the answer will be minus 6 by 8, or you can write it as minus 3 by 4. That is negative 0.75. Now this is the same slope for this equation. That's it. Now we found out the slope. Use this over here. You can use the same formula, but over here m value is known to be negative 3 by 4 and you can solve it up. So over here you can see the slope is negative 3/4 and it's the same one. Over here they have done the long method, found the b value, found the equation and then solved it. But you can directly put the slope formula and get the y value. Easily you can solve it up. So please do try this by yourselves. And this is the graph. Graphs can be checked easily by putting this equation in the calculator and solving it. And that's the end of this question 9. Just remember the formulas of slope-intercept form and the slope formula and you can easily solve this type of problems. Question 10 is about perpendiculars and distance. Here they have given you equations and you need to find the distance between the lines. Now these are very simple because they are just vertical or horizontal lines, right? Let's graph them up. So y is equal to 7 means somewhere over here, a straight line, and minus 1 is somewhere over here, a straight line. What is the distance? Distance is always the perpendicular distance, the straight line, 90 degree. So over here it's 7 and you need to add even this. 1 and 7, how much is it? 8. So the distance is 8 here. Very simple, right? What about this x1? It's the same thing, but its lines are like this. I'll draw it in black color. Minus 6 is somewhere over here and positive 5 is somewhere over here. So add the distances up. Total distance will be 5, and though it's minus, it's the distance between these two lines, right? You just add the distance. 6 plus 5 will be 11. So the 11 is the answer over here. 8 units for the first one, 11 units for the second one. These are easy ones, but what if equation comes? Now for these type of equations, when equations are given, not just a single line, it is not easy to solve it directly. There is one method. If there is one intercept of 0, see now this is at 0, nothing is there, right? And then this value is there, then the answer will be root 10 for this. But it's not possible to solve for other values. If say over here plus 6, then it's not possible to use that. So let's look into the method, how exactly we can solve it. First thing, let's draw a rough sketch of this. Since it is having an intercept 0, it passes over here. Now this is not accurate. I'm just drawing a rough figure. Okay, these are two parallel lines. They have given parallel lines, obviously, so slopes are same. The distance between these two, it's not this vertical distance because they are tilted like this. You need to find the perpendicular distance between the lines, 90 and 90. You can't just count, okay, from year to year, how much is it? 0 to 10. It's not 10. It is this perpendicular distance. Now, how exactly you will find it? There are ways to do Pythagoras theorem, but those are very confusing, you know. So the easiest way is simply this. This is a line, parallel line. This is a parallel line. Let me just change the color over here. So let me draw it in blue. So this and this over here will have a perpendicular line in between. In the sense, this line is perpendicular. It will be 90 degrees, right? So we can find the equation of this because we know the equations of the other two lines. The parallel lines we know. What will be the perpendicular line? So we can tell the slope will be reciprocal, negative reciprocal. The slope of this line, I can directly tell, will be m is equal to negative 1 by 3 because it's reciprocal of this, negative reciprocal. But what about these points? That's an issue, right? I don't know what are the points of intersection. But we need to draw a line, perpendicular line, such that it touches these both points, isn't it? So now take the first equation. Take the first equation and take x is equal to 0. Start with x is equal to 0. Doesn't matter. And then what is y value here? If x is 0, y is also 0. You can put it in the calculator. 3 into 0, it will be 0. So what we will do is we will draw this perpendicular. We can draw it anywhere. I can draw it over here, here. But what I will do is I'll draw it at 0, 0 at this point only. So I will draw this perpendicular from here to here. I don't know this point, but I know one point of intersection. So now I know this perpendicular, whatever I will draw, will have a slope of negative 1 by 3 and it should pass by 0 and 0. So now let's write the equation of this perpendicular line. The formula is y minus y1 equals m into x minus x1. Now substitute the values. What is y1? This is y1, x1. And what is m? Negative 1/3, x minus 0 again. So the answer is y is equal to negative 1/3 x. So this is the equation of the perpendicular line. Now this perpendicular line is touching the one of the parallel line 3x at 0, 0. So we have the point of intersection for this. It's 0, 0. But what about this line? We have no clue, right? I can't just take 0 over here. If it's 0, this is wrong. So now I realize the figure, what I've drawn, is not accurate. The perpendicular line touches this equation, 3x, right? So it should be this line, see, like this. Why? Because 0, 0 is this point, guys. Okay, this intersection point I know for this equation, see? This is 3x. Now this is 3x plus 10. Now, if it was this point, also you can do it, but better to take the first equation itself. Now, I need to find this point of intersection over here. Can you see this point? I have to find this point of intersection. I have no clue, but I know the equation of this line. I know this point of intersection. Once I find this point of intersection, x and y, I can use distance formula and find the distance between them. But what is this point? Look. I have the equation of the perpendicular line, right? It's over here. I know the equation of this particular line, parallel line, right? What is that? It's over here. So in order to find the point of intersection here, I know what is this parallel line. I know this perpendicular line. So all I do is I equate those both equations. In the sense, this y, I equated this y. When I equate, what happens? It becomes 3x plus 10 is equal to negative 1/3 x, right? Now, if I solve over here, whatever the x value is for this point, a point of intersection, that x value I'll find out. Then I can easily find y. So let me find the x value. Let me equate these both and solve. So one more thing, just for knowledge, if you have two equations, they intersect at one point. If you equate the both equations together, you find the point of intersections x value. So same thing we are doing over here. Now let's solve it, bring it to the other side. 3x plus 1/3 x is equal to minus 10 when it goes to the other side. 3 plus 1, it will be 9 by 3, it will be 10. You can just use the calculator. 3 plus 1/3, it's going to be 9 by 3 plus 1 by 3, it's going to be 10 by 3x equals negative 10. So this cancels, take the 3 to the other side, x is equal to negative 3. So this point of intersection is minus 3. So what is the y value? Here, if you substitute x as minus 3, what do you get? It will be 3 times minus 3 plus 10. It will be negative 9 plus 10, that is 1. So the intersection point is, your y point is 1. So intersection point is negative 3 comma 1 for this particular equation. Second one, minus 3 and 1. The first one was 0, 0. So now what does this points tell us? These points tell us distance between these two is the perpendicular distance. Perpendicular distance means that's the distance. You can't find any distance. You have to find, if you have 2 point lines like this, to find the distance, you always have to find the perpendicular distance, which is 90 degrees. That's the altitude or the height. So this is the thing. Now you have the coordinate points, right? Let us use the distance formula and solve it. Just take this off. And over here, we will now use the distance formula. I hope you remember that. It is square root of x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square. You can assume anyone as x1, y1. I'll take this as x1, y1, x2, y2. Or other way around is easier, but anyways. x2 is 0 minus, what happens to x1? Minus 3 the whole square plus y2 is 0 minus 1 the whole square. You can put this directly in calculator and get the answer. It'll be plus 3 squared is 9 plus 1 square root 10 is the final answer. So this is how we solve it. We will do one more problem. We will do a couple more problems on this. So first step is understanding where they lie. So understanding a basic equation, even if you don't do the graph, you can directly do it by following the step, that is taking a perpendicular line slope, just whatever is there, take a perpendicular slope, that is negative reciprocal. Then find any point, just substitute x as 0, that's the easiest one, x as 0, and find y value. It'll be 0 only over here. So use that point as one of the points of the slope and find the equation of this line. You found the equation, and then we equated that with the other equation to find the intersection point x value, and then once you find x value, you can find y value and find the distance. It's not that easy, but these are the steps. Over here you find the equation of the perpendicular line, find the equation, slope of the perpendicular line, then the equation, and then the intersection points with the other line, x and y value, and then what you do is you just find the distance between them. That's how we get the answer. Root 10 or 3.16 is the answer. This one is same. Now, if at all you get in your exam like this with 0 over here, the answer is just a root of the 26. You can see the final answer here. When you solve it up, this is the answer. Root 26 is the answer, 5.1 units. But this method will not work over here. What you have to do, we have to do the methods. Now let's do it from beginning without the graph, only what you need to do in the exam now. So here, first take this equation, the first equation, sorry for the line, over here. And now what I will do is I'll assume x is equal to 0. So what is y value? Put x of 0 and y will be only 9, sorry 9 over here. This is the answer. Now x0, y9, what else can you do? You can find the slope of the perpendicular line. Slope will be -1. Why? Because it's the negative reciprocal. Here the slope is 1. So this all information I can use for the perpendicular line. So I'll use the formula y minus y1 is equal to m into x minus x1. And here substitute y minus 9 will be equal to -1 times x minus 0 So y minus 9 is equal to negative x, or y is equal to negative x plus 9. So this is the perpendicular line equation. Now this equation you have to equate to the next line. See, I already used this one. You can start with the other equation, but it's better to start with the first equation and then now use this to equate it. I'll equate that. X plus 3 here is equal to minus x plus 9. Take this to the other side. It's going to be x plus x is equal to 9 minus 3. 2x is equal to 6. X is equal to 3. So the point of intersection over here we have already, right? 0 and 9, because we took this as the intersection point and drew the perpendicular line. Now here the x value is 3. What is the y value? If x is 3, y will be 3 plus 3, that is 6. Now we have x1, x2, x1, y1, x2, y2. Use the distance formula, square root x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square, and you will get the answer. Substituted over here. It is x2 is 3 plus, minus 0 whole square plus y2 is 6 minus 3 the whole square. Now here the answer will be 3 square, that's 9, plus 6 minus 3 is again 3 square, that is again 9. Y1 is 9. Okay, I don't know why I wrote that 3. So again it will be minus 3 the whole square, it will still be 9 only. Now it will be 9 plus 9, that is root of 18 is the answer. That's the correct answer. Let's solve it up. Let's check the answer. That's it. This is the distance. You can see here we found out the equation of the perpendicular line. Then we find where it, the intersection point, and then we find the distance. And it was root 18. You can leave it like this, but the option, if it's not that, it might be 3 root 2 or 4.24. Both are the correct answers. You can just put in the calculator, use the square root 18, you will directly get 3 root 2, or if you press SD over here, you get 4.24. Similarly, you can solve this problem. Here you can't do the direct methods. You have to use the equation of the perpendicular line and solve it up. Same problem. Here is the intersection points, and then lastly we have distance. That's the answer. Now here also it's the same thing, but I'll solve this one. Only thing is it's a rearranged. The equation needs to be rearranged. First one is all fine. The second one needs to be written as y equals, take this x to the other side, positive x minus 60, and this 4 is there, right? Divide throughout by 4. Y is equal to 1/4 x minus 60 divided by 4 is 15. And now these are the two equations. They are parallel lines. First one over here, take x is equal to 0. What is y? If x is 0, this is gone, y is 2. And the slope of the perpendicular line is m equals negative reciprocal negative 4. So I'll find the equation of the perpendicular line now. Y minus y1 is equal to m into x minus x1. Substitute over here, y is as it is, minus 2 equals minus 4 times x minus 0. Negative 4x y minus 2, y is equal to negative 4x plus 2. That's the equation. Now what you need to do is equate it with this particular equation over here and over here. So 1/4 x minus 15 is equal to negative 4x plus 2. Take the x's to the one side. 1/4 x plus 4x. Why? Because this goes to the other side and becomes positive. Here it will be positive 15 plus 2. Now here you can multiply both the sides by 4. It will be 1 by 4x plus 16 by 4. X is equal to 17. What is this? 1 plus 16 is 17 by 4. X is equal to 17. This can cancel off. 4 goes to the other sides. It will be 1/4 x equals 1, or x is equal to 4. Take the 4 to the other side. So now that is basically the point of intersection for this line. See, over here it is 0, 2, right? Here it is 4, what is the y value? You substitute the y over here. Sorry, this is the equation, right? X is 4. We found out to be 4. What will be the y value? If x is 4 here, 1/4 into 4 minus 15 cancels. 1 minus 4, it will be negative 14. So y value is negative 14. So x1, y1, x2, y2. Use the distance formula. It will be x2 minus x1. So it is 4 minus 0 the whole square plus negative 14 minus 2 the whole square. Now here it will be 4 square is 16. And over here what happens is minus 14 minus 12, it's minus 16 the whole square. Now over here use your calculator. It is 16 minus 16 squared is about 250, 264 or something. Better to use a calculator. All you have to do is type it out. I checked 16 squared is 256. Now what was the error over here? I have written the formula wrong. You can't have minus. It was a negative number. It will be imaginary. It's plus. The formula must be correct. Now this is the final answer. See over here, I've written the main formula correct, but while I was writing, I've written it wrong. So it was 256. The answer is 4 root 17. That's the distance. So that is how we do it. You know, you have 3 main steps. Finding the equation of the perpendicular line, equating it with the other equation and finding the intersection point. Then with the coordinates, whatever coordinates you get over here, find the distance between them. It is 16.5, you can say 49. So that's the answer. Here you can see all the step-by-step methods are there. And lastly over here, it is 16.49 units. This one also, please do solve it by yourselves, but I'll just rearrange both the equations and write it in slope-intercept form. It'll be y is equal to minus 3x plus 3. Over here it's going to be y is equal to minus 3x minus 17. And over here what happens? First equation, just assume x as 0 and y will be 3 because x is 0, y is remaining 3. What is the slope for the perpendicular line? It will be positive 1/3. That's negative reciprocal of minus 3. And then the same steps you can solve it up. Here you can see the method. The equation over here will be 1/3 x. This is the slope plus 3. And then what you have to do is you have to equate it with the other equation and solve for the x and y value. You get minus 6 and 1. Now just find the distance between 0 and 3 is 1 point. Minus 6 and 1 is the other point. It's 2 root 10 or 6.32 units. Here as well, let me just rearrange this. You know, it's the same concept, just that the values are a little weird. This is in slope-intercept form. Next one is 4y is equal to minus 5x plus 10.6. Now divide throughout by 4, you get minus 5 by 4x plus 10.6 by 4. You can just put in the calculator and you get the value. And over here, assume for the first equation 0. And then what is x, y value? It's 3.5. X is 0. And then m will be over here negative reciprocal. So it will be positive 4 by 5. So this is the required information for the perpendicular line. From this you can easily find the perpendicular line. See over here, that's the perpendicular line. And then we have to find equation of these both, right? Equate them. 10.6 divided by 4 is 2.65. And I've done a major mistake over here. Sorry, I apologize for that. What did I do wrong? Here, plus goes to the other side. It should become minus. So that is minus over here. If you have written the sign wrong, your entire answer will be wrong itself. So it's minus. So you can see that that's the equation over here. Negative 5 by 4x minus 10.6 by 4 is 2.65. And then equated with the equation of the perpendicular line, you will get minus 3 as x, and then solve for y. And then this is the point of intersection for the second equation. And distance between that is over here. It's 3.84 units. So please go through the others. Okay, now these are little different type of problems. In fact, these are easy. Because you have a single line, you can easily graph it up. What is the y value? Y is minus 3. So somewhere over here will be the graph. Okay, this is minus 3. Now, what is the other point? You have phi, comma 2. You need to find the distance for the line for the given at this point, right? Let's plot this point. Phi x is phi and 2 is over here. So from this point, what is the distance? You're not concerned with the equation of this line, you're just finding this distance. So over here x is 2 and below it's 3, it's 5 units, that's it. You can do using equations as well, what we just now studied, right? You can substitute one equation, this, that, but no need, equations from this is not required. Finding the slope and all, directly use it up, because over here slope is 0, you can use slope of 0 and find the equation. But the final answer is how much? 5 units. And it's MCQ, so you don't need to do any method. Directly the answer is enough. Even over here. Okay, now over here the equation is given. So this is positive slopes and plus 6, something like this will be the equation. It's not a proper equation, but around this, approximated. Now for such problems, right, first let's do a check. Substitute minus x over here and solve. Minus x, what is the answer for y? It will cancel, it'll be minus 1 plus 6. Answer is positive 5. Look here. For this equation at minus 6, you will have 5. So this is 5, this is minus 6. That means this particular point is on that equation. Otherwise, you have to find somewhere over here, then you can find the distance, okay? But since it's on the equation, what is the units? It's like 0 units. There is no distance because it's lying on the same line. You can even do by equation over here, this method. Now you can use the distance formula, and since both the points are same, the distance formula gives you 0 units, means it's lying on the same line. That's the reason. Mostly you'll get two proper equations that you will have to solve. Now this is also again a simple one. Over here x is 4. Now all the coordinates are becoming crooked, sorry for that. Here it's 4. And what's the other point? It's minus 2 somewhere over here, and 5, positive 5. Minus 2 is this, somewhere over here. So let's see what is the distance between these two. From here to here it's minus 2, but take it as distance 2 and 4. So add them up, it will be 6 units is the distance, right? Or measure, just count. From 4 to 0 it's 4 units, 5, 6 units. So that's the answer. And you can do the equation and stuff and still get the same answer. So that is the end of this question. Question 10, it was a lengthy one. Please make sure you understand the steps for the first, if the two equations are given. There's only 3 steps. Understand those 3 steps properly, solve some problems by yourselves, and then this will be an easy topic as well. Question 11 is to prove lines parallel. Here we have been given a figure, and they have told, based on this equality congruency statement, can we prove which lines are parallel, which are transversal, and we need to justify them. So let's look at this. Angle 3 and angle 7, where does it fall? If you look carefully, you can see angle 3 is over here and 7 is over here. So what sort of congruency theorem connects them? They are inside. So now, which are the two lines that are parallel? A and B, right? And they're inside them. So it is about interior. So you should write interior, something related to interior. It's a MCQ, just see which has interior. And it is opposite to each other, that means alternate. That's it, alternate and interior. Now we know that if they both are congruent, then what happens is these both lines must be parallel. This is the rule. If these two lines are parallel and this is the transversal, then they both are congruent because of alternate interior angles. But even if these are just told to be congruent, we know that they are alternate interior, right? So these two lines must be parallel. So that will be the solution over here. The final answer will be alternate interior angle converse. Why? Because they have told these are congruent, right? Main thing is it's alternate interior. And what are the lines parallel? Lines A and B are parallel, which is the transversal cutting L. That's the concept. Now they mostly might ask you only this alternate interior angle converse, because since they have told this is congruency, that is a converse theorem which we are proving by. That's the answer. Now what about 9 and 11? You guys can take your time and solve it by yourselves now. 9, 11 over here. are corresponding to each other. It's top left, and they have told they are equal to each other. That means again AB are parallel, and this line R is transversal. You can see over here. Sorry, that is not R. It's M. Line M is transversal. It's converse of corresponding angles. Most important is understanding which type of angles they are. They're corresponding, and AB are parallel. What about the next one? 2 and 16. 2 is over here, 16 is over here. They're exterior, right? Outside. So exterior alternate angles. And which are the two lines parallel? L and M. So over here, LM, alternate exterior angle converse. Same thing over here now. Measure. Okay, now it is added by, and they have told it's 180, which is phi. Over here is phi and 12. So phi and 12. Now these are consecutive angles. When you add two continuous angles and it must be 180-degree, then these two lines are parallel. So now these two lines will be parallel, L and M, but they are consecutive interior angles basically. So consecutive interior angle, converse. We have to add converse because they have already justified the statement, right? And which are the lines? L and M. Similarly, please do the others. One. Now the figure changes. 1 and 6. Now those are corresponding, right? 1 over here, 6. Which are the two lines? G and H. So G and H over here are parallel, converse of corresponding angles theorem. 7 and 6, these two consecutive angles, consecutive interior angles, but it's P and Q. So that is the answer, consecutive interior angles. And that's the end. Another very simple one. You should just know the rules of the parallel lines. Just remember them and look in the figure and easily spot out which theorem proves those angles. In question 12, we have to know about symmetry. The rotational symmetry is what we have been asked. Now here it's just not that we need to write the center of symmetry, the state, the order, magnitude of symmetry, and also identify whether it's point symmetry. I'll tell you what's point symmetry. Point symmetry is very simple. If at all, you can rotate something by 180-degree and map onto itself. Now, if you have, say, a rectangle, if I do 90 degrees, what's going to happen? It's going to be like this, right? But if I do 180 degrees, it's going to map onto itself. So, point of 180-degree, if it happens, it's point symmetry. Now, are these point symmetry? How we can do is just map them inverted. Just like a shortcut thing. Like if you map them inverted, is it the same? No, there is no point symmetry over here. What about this? If you map them 180-degree, it will be like this, right? This will go up. It'll do something. No, it's wrong. So there is no point symmetry over here. Only shapes like this, or parallelograms you will have. Proper parallelograms, you can have point symmetry. Now then, what does rotational symmetry mean? Say any object, if you rotate it by 360 degrees, it will map onto itself. Maybe a weird shape. Okay, this is a very weird shape. But if you do 360 degree, this point comes back over here, original, everything comes back to its original positions, right? So yes, obviously they will map onto itself for 360 degrees. But can it be done before that? If it is done before that, then it has rotational symmetry. For all regular pentagon, this is a pentagon, right? Yeah, it's 5 sides. Regular shapes, regular hexagon and all, it's easier. There is a simple formula to understand. But otherwise, you need to analyze it. See this object. It's not regular. All sides are not same. So if I move by 90-degree, let me take this as A, B, C, D. I move by over here. This shape comes. All the sides are changed to another sides. So what happens is this D goes up like this. C is over here. B will become over here, and this is A. So now A, B, C, D. Is it mapping onto itself? Is it the same thing? No. Now let me do it again. Let me change all this. Over here, what happens is A goes like this, B is something like this, small C and D. Again, not the same. If this is 90, 180, let me do it again. Now this inverted side is down, still not same. But if I do it again, then it comes back to its original position. So it will take me 360 degrees. So there is no rotational symmetry over here because in 360 degrees, everything maps onto itself. But now what about this one? Now let me take this as say A, B, C, D, and E. Let me do one side at a time. Now over here I took 90 degrees. Why? Because there are four sides, right? So the easier way to understand is 360 degree divided by its sides. 4, it'll be 90 degrees, right? And we will try for 90 degrees. That's how we simply start. Now over here, if you want to know how many degrees, it is basically 360 degrees by 5. So it'll be 7 times is 350, 7 plus 2 is 72 degrees. So 72 degrees, if you do, it should shape onto itself. If it is not, then it doesn't have. Then you need to do one more, and so on. It is not a guarantee that this is the answer. But since this is regular, yes. But if it's not the same shape, it doesn't work like this, okay? So now over here, what we have to do, let me get those back. Let me just change the angle by 72 degrees. So what happens is this B, right, moves over here, and that E goes over here, A over here, C over here, and this. So now here it's A, B, C, D, E, and it is mapping onto itself. Now this is not accurate, but if you draw it accurately, it maps onto itself. That means it has rotational symmetry before 360 degrees. You don't have to wait 360, right? We already got it. Now, if it is all regular sides, regular means equal sides, this is it. This is the angle of rotational symmetry. But what is the magnitude? Magnitude is basically the sides, how many sides it has. 5, right? That will be the magnitude, because you can keep on changing it 5 times before 360 degree. Now this is C, right? I'll move this again. Now this will be B, then it will be A, then it will be E. Sorry, it will be, yeah, E. And then it will be lastly D. D was the original. So how many magnitude is there? From to get back to D, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So that is basically magnitude. How many times we can rotate it to map itself. So rotational symmetry exists over here. Yes. Order is phi. That is order. Magnitude is the degree. Sorry, I was saying order. How many times you can rotate it within 360 degrees? 5 times. The magnitude is 360 by 5. That's for 72 degrees. Here nothing. It's all no or none or none. But does this have point symmetry? I told you point symmetry is 180 degree rotation. No, both doesn't have point symmetry. Now what about this shape here? Both are parallel. It's a parallelogram, parallel sides. Now let's rotate it by, say, 360 by 4 sides, 90 degrees. Let's try rotating at 90 degree. If I rotate it, it's going to be, this is small side, this is big, big, small. It's not the same. They are different. But let me rotate it again. Then this is going to be small, big, big, small. Now it will map onto itself. So it will take 180 degrees to rotate, right? So if it is taking 180 degrees to rotate, that is the magnitude. The order will be 2. 2 times it can be rotated. Yes, it has rotational symmetry. Order is 2. Magnitude is 180 degrees. And now this has point symmetry. Why? Because it can be rotated 180 degree about its center. If you rotate it by 180 degree, you can get to itself. Let us look into a check problem as well. You can try this by yourself. Please do it by yourselves and then check the answers. Here, yes, there is rotational symmetry, you can say for sure. But now, since the shapes and sides are not same, the order will be 2 and it's 180 degree, just like the previous problem. What about this? No, there is no way you can get it onto itself. There is no order, none magnitude. Now here, since all the sides of this triangle are same, it's an equilateral triangle, the order will be 3 sides. And magnitude will be 360 by 3, it's 60 degrees. And yes, rotational symmetry exists. 360 by 3 is 120 degrees. Now, which of this has point symmetry? Now, if you rotate all these, you will never, at 180 degree, you will not get it back. So it will be something like this. No, it's not possible. Only this is possible if it's rectangular or parallelogram. The rectangle has point symmetry because it can be rotated 180 degree about its center and it maps onto itself. So that's the end of question 12. Question 13 is about translations, and translation is one of the easiest of all the transformations. Now here we have been given a point F and we need to find the translation of this point based on this translation vector. Generally, a translation vector is given with the diamond brackets, whichever you call them. It's like this. Phi and 1 is the translation vector. The vector is given as the point is given as minus 3 comma 4. When you translate it, it becomes f prime. Now then, what you need to do is just add this vector. It is so simple. Now this is x and y, right? X, say we will call it as x prime, y prime. Just add it up. It'll be minus 3 plus 5 and 1 minus 1. 1 plus of minus 1 will be minus 1 itself. So f prime will be basically 2 comma 0. That is the answer. Isn't that so easy? So the final answer will be 2 and 0. You don't need to write all the steps and everything. That's it. But remember, the translated point will be f prime, not just f. Now what is q prime or q dash? So it's 4 minus 2, that will be 2 over here, and minus 7, because minus 2 minus 5 will be minus 7. 2 and minus 7. Even over here, just add it by yourself. 9 plus 3 is 12, and over here it will be 1. 12 and 1. Now they have given a word problem. The image of a of minus 3 comma minus 15 under a translation is already done here, and this is the answer. Find the image. We need to translate this for the same translation vector. So what happens is, now a was there, a dash is already done, translation is done. So look over here, it's minus 3 minus 5. Over here it's 6 minus 1. How do you find the translation vector? Now translation vector would be minus 3 plus x prime will be positive 6, right? When you add the translation vector over here, you're going to get 6. And over here also, next point, minus 5 plus y prime will give you minus 1. So what is this x prime? Just take minus 3 to the other side. So it will be x prime is equal to 6 plus 3 is 9. And over here, y prime over here, take it to the other side, will be minus 4 plus 1, minus 5 plus 1 is positive 4. So that is the answers. This is the translation vector, 9 and 4. Now just add it over here. 3 plus 9 is 12, and minus 2 plus 4 is positive 2. So 12 comma 2 are the answers for B prime. The translation after this point B undergoes for this vector. Now the other way to understand is, if you have been given an original point and a translation, all you do is from the translation subtract the original point. That is 6 minus of minus 3. It will be 9, and it is minus 1 minus of minus 5. It will be added up 4. So 9 comma 4, yes, that's the translation, isn't it? But that's not the answer. Then you need to add these 2 points to the point B. You get 12 and 2 as the final answer. So that is the answer, 12 and 2. I hope that's clear. First find the translation and then add it to the point B. The answer will be 12 and 2. Here, explain why A prime, B prime, C prime of this triangle with vertices given over here is not translation image. See, now if you want to translate a triangle, remember this translation transformation happens when the shape remains the same. It does not change. It cannot be big or it cannot be small. This is enlargement reduction, not gonna happen. It will be the same thing, but it just moves somewhere. So all the points will be having the same translation. Okay, that's a very bad diagram, but I just want to say, if it's this figure, the same figure will be somewhere over here, and it will be all the same. All the points will be translated in the same translation vector. So that's the concept. So now let's do the let's find the translation vector. We know these are the translated points, right? I'll just subtract the original points from this. Minus 1, minus 1, comma, minus 2, minus 2. What is the answer? It is minus 2, comma, minus 4. So this is the translation vector from A we got, okay? From A, translation vector we got is this. Now, if at all the translation vector is same throughout, that is the answer. But I can see it's 0, 0 over here. So for B, we will have 0, minus 0, 0, minus 0. This is wrong, right? This is not a translation, because for point A, we got a translation vector of minus 2 and minus 4, but it's not the same at B. Let's check for C as well. You don't need to check, but let's still go ahead and check. It'll be minus 6, minus 6, and 0 minus 0, so it's minus 12 and 0. Look, all the translation points for each point is different. So this triangle is not translated, some other transformation is done over here. So you can tell, no, all the points are not moved in the same direction. Okay, so that is the reason why the translation has not occurred. So this is a reasoning type. These may not come, they'll just tell you to find the translation vector or something, because it'll be in MCQ, isn't it? Now determine whether P prime, Q prime and R prime is a translation image of PQR. Is this a translation? Look, this is originally small and now translated as big. No, this is enlargement. Though it is moving somewhere else, it has changed its shape. It cannot be a translation. So answer is no. The size has been changed, that's why. Determine the translation vector that moves every point of the pre-image by 4 units left. Now remember, when you move to the left, it is minus 4, and 6 units up, y-axis is going up, plus 6. So this is the translation vector in the diamond brackets. So they have just given in words, and you need to tell what are the translation vectors. So when you go to the left by 4 units, it's minus 4. Up, it's positive 6. If it was down, it will be minus 6. So x-axis first, y-axis next. And that's the end of question 13. Another simple and easy question. Please remember, translation is the easiest of all transformation, and you just add the translation vector to the given point and you find it out. Question 14 is about angles of triangles. You can see over here, a figure has been given and you need to find the angles. You do not need to remember the property names or anything. Why? Because all you need to solve is just the angles. And it's question 14, the MCQ part. So just the answer is enough. But now let's analyze this. You can see this is a full triangle right over here. From triangle angle sum theorem, what it says is any triangle, if you sum the total angles, the edges, vertices, you must get 180 degree. Here, if you add 60 and 30, it's 90, and this is 90. Yes, makes sense. And they have told this is already 90. But we know this is 90. How much is 1 and 2? We do not know, right? But now let's take this as the triangle. See this one, RWS. Now over here, we know this is 90 degrees. Then there is a 30 degree. And then if you add up this angle 2, that must be 180 degrees. So what is angle 2? Just take this to the other side. 180 minus 90, it will be 90 minus 30, it will be 60 degrees. So it's 60 degrees over here. That's the answer. What about the other angle? Now, if measure of angle 2, this is 60 degrees. We know 60 and 1 plus 60 degrees is 90 degrees. So 1 must be 30 degrees. 90 minus 30. 90 minus 60 is 30. So those are the answers. It's 1 is 30 and 2 is 60. That's it. Similarly, you can solve the others. Now over here, you can see MQP triangles, angles unknown, and this is unknown. So you can easily solve it up. That is 180 degrees. So I'll write directly, angle 1 will be 180 minus 66 minus 58. You can do it in the calculator. This is going to be 124. It's going to be 56 degrees, I believe. So angle 1 is 56 degrees. Now what about angle 2? If angle 1 is 56, angle 1 and angle 2 are vertical angles. So if angle 1 is 56, this is also 56. And now we have 56 degrees minus 50 degrees, sorry, 180 minus 56 minus 50 will be equal to what? Measure of angle 3. How do you find this? Add all them, it should be 180. So 180 minus these two will give you measure of angle 3. So it'll be 100 and it'll be 74 degrees over here. So that is how we can solve the problems. It is 56, 56 and 74. And that's the answers. 1 and 2 will be same, and third will be 180 minus 56 minus 50. Please do in calculator for the accurate answers. Now what about this angle? Again, these are all like puzzles, Now this one triangle I can see, it is 135 and 60. So to find the measure 1, you have to do 180 minus 35 minus 36. So what will be the answer? 30, 30, 60, 71. So subtract 71 over here, it will be 111. Sorry, it's not 111, it's 109 degrees. So measure of angle 1 is found out to be 109. So if this is 109, what about this one? They're a straight line, isn't it? So just add them up, they are linear pairs. So if you add 1 and 3, it must be 180 degrees. But since you know 1 is 109, so just take it to the other side. 180 minus 109, it will be 71 degrees. And now we found 1, 2, what is 3? Now see over here. If at all, you know this third one, angle 3, what about this? They are both same. They are vertical angles, right? So this is also 71. So now then, what is angle 2? It will be 180 minus 80 minus 71. So measure of angle 2 will be 100 minus 71. It's 29 degrees. Understanding. See, first one easily you can find out. This one we found out easily. From this we can find 3 because they are linear pairs. And if 3 is known, this is also known, that is 71. And then you can find this is another triangle, right? It will be total 180. So 180 minus 80 minus 71 gives you the answer. So the final answer is, you can see over here, measure of angle 1 was 109. Measure of angle 2 we found out to be 29. And lastly 3 was 71 degrees. Please do solve the others. Now over here, right, it is similar, but what's the change? You don't have two angles, but they have told this and this are equal, right? Because they have mentioned over here this one line means they're equal. So let's consider this as x and this as x. So x plus 146 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. So now take it to the other side, it'll be 2x is equal to 180 minus 146. It is 40 minus 6. It'll be 34 degrees is 2x. X will be 17 degrees. So that is the answer. 17 for 1 and 2, both are 17 degrees. Just by solving. You can directly put in calculator and solve it as well. Now what about this one? We know the rule is the exterior angle theorem. So when you sum them up, these inside angles, it will be equal to 145. So it will be 2x plus 95 is equal to 145 degrees. You can solve this up directly in calculator. You'll get the answer as well. It will be 145 minus 95. So it'll be over here 50 is equal to 2x. X is equal to 25 degrees. So that's the answer. Okay, now very important thing, it's not to find x, it is to find ABC. So what is 2x? It's 50 degree. X is 25, but value of ABC angle is 50 degrees. See, so we'll see this is the answer. You can see ABC is 50 degrees. So final answer will be 50. And even over here it's the same thing. Remember, this plus this will be equal to 58. It will be 2x. X plus x is equal to 2x is 58 degrees. Just divide this by 2, it will be 29 is x, sorry. Now you just have to find the measure of f, that is x degrees, that is 29 degrees. So that's how we solve it. And that's the end of question 14. Another simple one. Think of solving these angles like a puzzle. Find out which is one triangle, then find the other angles, and easily you can solve them all up. Question 15 is the last one in the part 1, and it is about symmetry. Here we have a figure, and is it possible to draw lines of symmetry, and if so, how many? Look at this. It looks like an equilateral triangle, isn't it? So what you do is start drawing lines. Now imagine I will, draw a line vertical like this. Okay, it's not very straight, but if you draw a straight line, whether it will cut into equal parts, a symmetrical part, whether this line can be a mirror, yes, because this length and this length will be same, the other two lengths, this length, it'll be same if I draw it exactly from this vertex to the center over here. But even the same thing can be done over here. Now you can see this and this is equal, or if I draw it like this, equal, and like this. So how many lines of symmetry can be possible? Only 3 times it's possible. But whereas if I draw like this is a triangle, this is a trapezoid, no, that's not possible. If I draw it, say, similar to this, no, it should be exactly at the center, okay, middle. then it's possible. Looking at this figure, we can easily tell it's three lines of symmetry, isn't it? One, two, three. The answer is yes, we can draw a line of symmetry and it's three. Now what about this one? If I draw, say, like this, is it symmetrical? Now you must realize, see, it looks, okay, this is big length, same length, this is same. Isn't it symmetrical? No, it's not symmetrical. Now if I draw a diagonal like this, look at this length, is it the same over here? Only if this and this is same next to it, then it's correct. No, this is not the same. See, over here we have the long length and over here we have short length. It's not at all symmetrical. Whereas if I draw it like this, a flat line, now we can see this length is same. Over here this length is same, this is symmetrical. Or if I draw, cut it in the middle, it is equal. You should cut them into two equal halves like a mirror. Okay, so now these two only lines, not the diagonal, though it's similar parts, but no, it's not the same side. Left is small length, over here it's big length, not possible. What about this one now? Let us try the diagonal thing. If I draw from here and here, like wherever is the center, is it possible? Imagine that's the center. It's not symmetrical because this is small and this is big. Only for equilateral triangles it's possible. This is no symmetrical line possible here. None. Because no matter where you cut, from here, here, everywhere, the lengths won't be the same. What about this now? Again, this is a parallelogram. Now we can draw the diagonals, but this length is small, this is big. No, again, no. Try anywhere straight, anywhere, you won't get equal parts. If you're thinking, what about this flat line? From here, no, it should cut like this, or over here. No, you won't get, because this will be smaller length, this will be bigger length. You can see the shape is not the same. If at all it was like this, then yes, you can cut, it'll be equal. But for a parallelogram over here, it's not possible. No. This is yes. Why? Because looking at it only, you can tell if you cut it, now equal parts, same length, everything is same. Now what about like this? That is, no, wait. Let us consider this as the base and like this is possible. From here, yes, this is possible. So many are possible. How many exactly? Depending on the vertices, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vertices. So 5 lines of symmetry. Because from each vertex you can draw. This is the answer. Now don't think, okay, there are over here 10. No, it's one line. 2 ends are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what about this? Absolutely. Again, depending on the vertices, how many sides are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 vertices. Yeah. And what about these? Steve found a hubcap shown below in his local junkyard. Determine whether each hubcap has a rotational symmetry. Explain. Now here, to have rotational symmetry, what happens is whenever you turn, like by any degrees, by certain degrees, say you turn this by 90 degrees or 180 degrees. When you turn it, it'll be the same position. If you turn it, it'll be, this will come over here, the points will again turn, it'll be the same thing, right? So weird, since there are 4 points, you can divide a 360 by 4. For every 90 degree, you will get the same shape again and again. So yes, there is a rotational symmetry, you can say. What they want to know is, less than 360 degree only, this will come to its same position. Absolutely, because if you turn at 90 degree, it is possible and it will come to the same shape. But what about over here? We just now saw the answer. It's no. Why no? Think about it. Because over here also, if you rotate, it should come, right? If you're thinking why. And over here, it's yes. It'll come with less than 360. 360 means you will do a complete rotation. Now imagine, this is the thing. Over here, if I just turn it a little bit, it's going to be something like this, isn't it? This is not mapping on itself. But if I rotate it more, 90 degree, it maps on itself again. But imagine there is a shape like this. Why it is not possible? But once you turn it by 360 degree, yes, it will come, because you're doing one complete revolution. Look at this over here, button. Is it the same? Because this is not same. So since one of the shapes, see, all these are entirely symmetrical, they're all same everywhere. but this one is not same. So if you move, this will be over here. No, that's not possible. Then over here, over here, over here. In order for it to come back, it must be 360 degrees. So there is no way rotation less than 360 is possible because of this, image. You can say because this over here is a different image, unique image. It's not the same. But over here, all are same. All the buttons are same. Even over here, everything is same. With less than 360, you can get the original shape, whatever is there, performed again. So this is the concept. And that's the end of part one. Finally, we have finished all the questions. I wish you all the very best for your exams. Please do study well. Don't keep it at the last minute. Try to revise as early as possible. If you have any doubts, please do post them in the comments and I'll try to get back to you very soon. You can find all the explanation videos of part 1 questions and part 2 questions in my channel. I just want to thank each and every one of you for supporting my channel, for subscribing to my channel, for sharing my videos with your friends. I really appreciate it so much. I'm so grateful to all of you guys for all the support, for all the love. I just want to wish you all the very best. I hope everyone gets great marks in their exams. I wish you good luck and take care.